Oh, I see. So I'm getting prompts. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our continuation of African Awareness Week. My name is David Wall Rice. I'm professor of psychology and director of the Identity, Art, and Democracy Lab at Morehouse College. And I'm quite pleased to be with you and with my brother, Haj Mohammed, today, and to talk about the topic of really African spiritual knowledge. The title of the talk, of course, is called The Gods Have No Gender. And Haj Umar Muhammad, again, is a brother of mine who I've known for close to a decade now. He works with the Queen Mothers and Good Governance Project in Ghana. And what he's going to do is really have a conversation with you. I'll pepper in and out and dot him with questions, and we hope that you'll present questions in the Q&A dialogue opportunity, and then we'll be able to ask him questions. But really, he's going to talk to us about this idea of African spiritual knowledge and what significance it is, and how it is that it can contribute to the world, but really, of course, to the diaspora. So, without further ado, I would like to present my dear brother, Haj Umar Muhammad. So please educate us, brother. Tell us what's going on. I don't think we can. I can't hear you. Let's see. Hi, brother. I can't hear you. Is that just me who can't hear him?
Myself now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So in that case, let's start the show. So,
Oh, okay.
so I had done an introduction, Haj, just basically announcing who you are and what it is you do. But the hope is that you'll be in conversation with us for a bit and tell us how it is that this perspective of the gods have no gender even plays, and what it is that it has to inform us, across the diaspora in terms of how it is that we get closer to, I guess, our true selves. And our hope and my expectation is that you'll discuss some of your relationship with Sufism and etc. Is that reasonable?
It's reasonable, yeah.
All right.
Thank
so
you very much.
Going on.
Alhamdulillah. رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. We start for the praying the God Almighty. Say thank you for giving us this opportunity to meet our brothers and sisters all over the world and to have a discussion on this important issue. So I just ask God to support us. So when I say God, some will say Elohim, and then some will say Allah, some will say you have so many names, but the link with people are going to ask to say, why are we referring God to me, he? We never heard anybody talking about God, she. So is that right or no? There is something that maybe we left it behind. Maybe that is good. That is going to be the concept of today's discussion. So we will say that yes, God has no gender. On our basics of the plans that we have for ourselves. So if I said God, or I said gods have no gender, I think I have to tell myself that yes, he has gender or he don't have a gender. That is what maybe I'm going to deal about it a little bit small before I enter into my real conversation. It's like how the people are always thinking about God is he. God is he. Yes, it can be he, because when you go to the maybe in the Quran, that is where Moses, speaking to the God, because it's a kalam Allah, he said somebody who is speaking to the God direct. So he said that, oh my friend God, why can't you reveal yourself to me to see you? And then God tell Abraham that, God tell Moses that, no, I can't be seen. You can't see me. So in this one of the area too in the Quran is telling us that God is saying that ta'arufuni qabla an ta'buduni. He's saying that know me before you can worship me. And in the other side too, the God tell Moses that you can't see me. So these are the 2 points that I think is confusing, as there is one letter behind it, which is, I would say that they are always trying to hide that one, from us. Which is, it is true. If you don't know somebody, you can see somebody. If they ask you, you can say that, oh, yes, oh, I see this. But maybe they will say that I just saw the person, but I don't know him. So maybe when you go back into Quran, that is what the God said. I think the Moses just want to see the God, but God want Moses to know him. But God, Moses forced God to reveal himself to him. And he said, oh no, my friend, you can't see me. So you just go ahead with that. And in the commentary in the Quran, they said that the God just, revealed some lighting from the sky. So that lighting melt the, melt Moses until sometime he came back. Before he get up, then he realized what called God. But if we think of this concept, he didn't see the God. So when he met Jenny in that small time, in our revelation, some people say that it's 40 years, some people said it's only 40 minutes, some people said it's only 40 hours. But no matter how, years or months or week that it is only one thing that we've been talking about here. Is he see God? The truth is no. He didn't see God, but he know the God. Okay, fine. If you know the God, how? Because we Muslims, we believe in saying that we have to know God before you can worship him. So when we are kids like this, we ask our parents what exactly that they mean by God. Then they tell us that, hey, don't ask this question. When you ask this question, you go crazy. You go mad. So you don't have to ask this question. But in my case, at the age of 7 years, I start thinking of why are they telling us that when we think to know who is God, whether it's a woman or man, we want to know. But our elders keep on telling us that we should know. We should not intervene into that question to ourselves. Otherwise, we will go crazy. But I keep on searching until I got my, 23 years. Then I start, I finished my Quran in the age of 17 years. Then when I start my learning of the Quran interpretation, that is where I understand what the people mean by God. How do I know that? I choose myself to follow the trend of the ones that they are saying that we should not ask ourselves. So that is where my journey starts, to understand what is God. Because everybody is saying God, we are talking about the same thing. And for instance, when we look at the Muslim area, when you go to the Saudi Arabia, Mecca, there is one place that all the people you see them going around it. It's a black thing in the middle. They call it Kaaba. It's a black thing in the middle, which is all of us, going around. But I keep on asking myself, what is in there? What is in there that we don't know what is in there, but we are just, going round. So I continue doing my research in my inner world to make sure that I know exactly what I'm talking about or what God is. So I realized that before I can understand that, I have to learn something about let me say about Asian Kemet. So that is where I came back to myself to start looking at this area. But all these areas that we've been talking about in Christianity, Islam, the Asian, it's a God's place. It's not the real house of God. It's for the gods. So whoever is going to go through that, then is for the gods. It's not for the God. We have God and gods. So from the God and the gods, people are trying to, put them together. So I start asking myself so many questions. The first time that I come to the US, we have so many discussions with so many professors to me to understand their side of the story. But unfortunately for me, whatever that I got from the professors that I deal with them there, everybody is trying to understand what is, what they understand or what they are trying to maybe prove it to me. It's about seeing. But when I go back to the Quran, nobody sees me. So that is why I disagree with the science. The science means that you have to see and touch it and feel it before you can identify it as a something. But God cannot be called something. So that is where, I know where I put the science, this thing. Then I came back to looking into the sense. I left the science somewhere and I came back to thinking of the sense. My sense, what my conscious telling me, where can I find that? I have to move. I found what I want, because for the physical world, they want to touch it, they want to feel it before they can say that, okay, this is it. But in my sense of what I'm looking for, from my belief, is not what they are trying to tell me. So in my inward journey, I have to go inside the room for 41 good days to find myself first, to know who I am. Where do I came from? And from there, that I am, where am I going? Let me repeat. I start for the knowing myself, who I am, and where do I came from? And from there, where am I going? So that is where the challenge is in our life. Because the self-belief between only you and then God. I try to reconcile what I see or what I learn from America, from the professors that they are friends like me, like David Rice, Cynthia Mary Hewitt, and plenty of people that I spoke with them. I understand from their learned, perspective that is not what I'm looking for. So I have to find way to know what I'm doing. So I go back to the tradition. That is, if it's not about the school, knowledge, science. And I went in there, I found myself in my inward journey, then where I know myself that my name is Umar. So when somebody call me, I will ask the person, me? When I say me, I put my hand in my chest. So this is hand. We call it hand. And this hand have 5 fingers. And then the 5 fingers have so many things in that hand that hand cannot be called Umar. Because each of the hands have their, what do you call it? They call something fingers, they call something palm, there is some bones and tissues and so on and so forth inside. So that cannot be called Umar. So I came back to my chest to find out, is it the chest? Is what they call Umar. And I found that in the chest too, there is plenty things that I saw in the church. There is a skin, and there is some tissues. Once again, there are some bones, there is a heart, there is a blood, and this and that and that. So which one of them is real human? Okay, maybe they will say that my soul. When they said my soul, can I touch my soul? Once again, I can't touch my soul. So there is no way I can bring this knowledge to the world in front of the science to tell them that my soul is what me, is me. I can't identify myself like that. Okay, this is my shadow. And once again, I can see my shadow, but I can't touch it. So still, I didn't qualify to come out to say something to the science that I found God. Because all the things that I've been meeting them. But one thing that we all know for sure is we have so many things in common, whether you are a psychology professor or you are maybe a sociologist or whatever that I think you are. We all have one thing in common, something called belief, something called faith. We all have faith. But the question here is, we all have the same faith. Is it the same faith that we have? Maybe somebody believes in Jesus, the Christianity. Somebody believes in Muhammad, the Islam. And then somebody believes in, Elijah Muhammad, which is, there's plenty, Judaism, there's plenty. But there's one thing that we are all share in common. It's going to open another door for me to continue my research, to know exactly what I'm looking for as a spiritualist. And
so let me ask this, Hodge. So if in fact what you're talking about, as I understand it, has a lot of significant parallel with Howard Thurman and a lot of the mysticism that he had associated with how it is that he understood God and Jesus and his famous book, Jesus and the Disinherited. What it seems like you're talking about is that labeling God in some way and being able to make him tangible actually makes him, quote unquote, more distant, because you in fact are trying to look inside yourself, not outwardly. So it seems like as people have fashioned our understanding of God, we're looking for him outside of ourselves. But what you're saying is that, in cribbing Howard Thurman, and this is the language that I'm using just in trying to understand you, he talks about having an inward journey. And so I'm curious, as I know that Kwame Nkrumah talked about how it was important, irrespective of religious practice, it was important to bring people together. And so is it your contention or your assertion that as we understand ourselves as in relationship to ancient Kemet, that we're given direction to look inside of ourselves, irrespective of our religious doctrine? If we look inside ourselves, we get closer to the Creator. And then I'm also, so I'm wondering if I'm following you correctly there. And then the other question I have, and I'm sure you're going to get to this, is to what extent does colonialism or neo-colonialism color how it is that we think about things? Is it this kind of Western orientation of we have to hold and control a thing that makes us gender God in some way so that we make him tangible? Does patriarchy make it, such a way, if we understand God as being in the image of man or white man at that, does that make us more separate from God and have us confused in a way that we need not be? Those are just some things I want to throw at you, and I hope I made some kind of sense.
Thank you very much for bringing it to this area, because otherwise it's going to take long for me to reach where you are talking about, right? But I'm very grateful, to you, how you did this together. Yes. My answer is yes. Why am I saying yes? The colonialism really, really play a negative role for us to loosen our way. Because we understand when the white people came, there is a song here. They said that the ship who brought the Bible is the same ship who brought the drink. Who brought, the shrap. And we should not forget that we can't pour libation without the shrap. So the question that I'm going to throw to the world is, why Bible and the ship? Why Bible and the shrap at the same time? Why Bible and the shrap at the same time? That is the question. And the one musician continues saying that we should not forget that the same people that we have them in the church with the Bible, they are the same people that we have them in the shrine and pouring the libation. I will ask myself, does it make sense? Yes, it makes sense, because the colonialists came with the brainwash to let us, lost our way, to forget about ourselves, and then to put a different concept altogether, to create it in our mind, to create a different world altogether, to put it in our mind so that we will deviate from our righteous route to go into what they want us to go, so that they can control us. So, for instance, when Nkrumah came to the power, when he is speaking with, his friends, brothers and sisters, George Padmore, and then he's able to talk to W.E.B. Du Bois, and he brought them Ghana here, which is at that time, they all don't believe in the spirituality. Mm-hmm. From my knowledge, they all don't believe in the spiritualism. So Kwame Nkrumah brought them in Ghana here to just let them have the taste of it. But politically, generally, he said that he invited W.E.B. Du Bois to come to work on psychopedia. Right? Mm-hmm. That is what the world know that is here. No matter is no. He brought in here for W.E. Du Bois and George Padmore to take their in-world journey, for them to know themselves. So this is the one of the mysterious things that happened. In that fateful day that they came one place called Mankesim, which is, I know, you all know Mankesim. So there is a place called Nananum Mpo, means that the ancestors, a city. Let's put it that way so that we all understand. Nananum Mpo, when I translate it is city or ancestors town or ancestor village. So when they are in Mankesim, they are on their way going to that place. This is where they are going. Nkrumah told them that we are going there, but we understand that the enemies has laid the ambush on the way. But we are not afraid because we are with our ancestors. So come on, Nkrumah, what are you talking about? With our ancestors. We are here together. We hear the ambush laying. He said we should go. He said, don't worry. All of you should go. We should go. But when you hear me, screaming, just hold my attack, all of you. So that is what happened, That is what happened. So when they are on their way going, they are out of the car. They are just walking barefoot, going. So when they hear the gun, boom, and then the Nkrumah shout, all of them, I think, hold they hold his, clothes, and then they all vanish at once. With Kwame Nkrumah, Japan person called Mr. John Kramer, he's still alive. He's still alive. So I hear this narrate from him. So that tells you exactly what has been going on between Nkrumah and W.E.B. Du Bois and John Padmore, who came from the U.S. So that tells you that all these people that we've been talking about, that they acquire the knowledge of all of the areas. They touch the surface of small areas like science, psychology, whatever. They know small about it. So they can't be brainwashed. So when they escape, they ask Nkrumah, what about this? What is this? What happened? Then Nkrumah said that, yes, this is exactly what we are talking about when we say we are Africans. Mm. But this belief is not all that common for somebody to say that.
So let me ask you this. So one of the questions is, what is believed beyond Christianity and Islam regarding God and gender? So from what you've said, and just tell me if I'm on the right track here, from what you've said, if we even look at Nkrumah as a starting place, because Nkrumah is kind of trying to bring us back to this Kemetic orientation of spirituality, not religious doctrine, but looking at spirituality. So if we're looking at spirituality can exist in Christianity, it can exist in Islam, it can exist in Buddhism, it can exist in all of these different iterations of practice. So would your contention be that if we understood kind of the genesis of spirituality, and how we come to know the greater creator, we know the greater creator really as not being of gender and as being inwardly understood and in relationship to us. So the answer to that question, and I don't mean to be, particularly dense or esoteric or vague here, but what I understand from you is that if we're following spirituality, which informs our religiosity, spirituality would suggest, irrespective of religious practice, there would still just be this idea that God does not have a gender, because the creator would not have a gender. It is the reflection of who we are. And so we might make it gendered, but that would be this Western orientation of needing to capture it and to touch it and to feel it and to define it. And we would really do well to sit back and not have to do those things. And that would portend or inform faith. Does that make sense?
Yes. If I'm going to maybe say something small about what we are saying, we all believe in the spirituality, because we cut across all our faith based on one thing, which is when I start talking about when you go to Mecca, that's one thing that we found that it has something to do with Asian Kemet. I'm going back to that topic, right? Because we all pray and say Amen. We all pray. After our prayers, we close it with Amen. What is that Amen? But when you go to the Quran, there is no word Amen in the Quran. But in the religion, in the Islam religion, when you pray, when you say what a darling, if you didn't add Amen, your prayers are not being accepted. Your prayers are not, any basics. but it's not in the Quran. And Prophet Muhammad used the word army. So from my research and my trace to the word army, I understand there's no one single religion that we have it in this earth that not using that word army. So that's why I can see the unification of the spiritual. You are a Christian, but at the end of your prayers, you said army. Prayers, I said army. So we should ask ourselves, where do we get that word army? And why is it so important in our, prayers? Not
Haj, you just muted yourself, I think, on accident, perhaps. Haj, we can't hear you, brother.
When you finish with army. The pastor pray, when you finish with army. So I asked so many pastors to understand. I had so many Malams, Judaisms, Hebrew, whoever that I met. I take more than 4, 5, 6 years cutting across the world trying to understand where this word army came from. But I didn't find it anywhere, which is the god Amun-Ra. And if you hear the god Amun-Ra, and it's the same army, and they say the god of sun. And let me make this a reference to when you go to Mecca, and the thing that is where we believe that the sun came out. So if you ask the Muslims, what exactly are they worshiping? What is their God? Many of us will say that we don't know. But when you come back into yourself, you think your critical thinking to find out this is Amun-Ra, God of sun. And then we are all facing that sun to pray. So whom are we praying to? Mm-hmm. We are praying to the same God of sun. So we are praying to the same Amun-Ra. Maybe the Muslims has get some small puzzle of what that one is stand for. But when I go to the Christianity, I don't get the source of where they get their word army.
So tell me this, because I think that's important. So you're talking about kind of going back to the source. So in knowing, in being able to tap the source, as it were, right? To tap the source of our spiritual orientation, again, irrespective of religious doctrine, we still have this thread that interconnects, this prayer to the sun, right? That kind of cuts across, right? If we talk about Amun-Ra. So being able to tap that core and that essence, how does that allow us to be more spiritually whole or spiritually healed? Can you talk about that?
That is more important for us to know ourselves, because in your in your world journey, then that is where you can find and you can emphasize and to be sure of what exactly you are doing. That after you know yourself, that is where you can identify whoever is around you. If you identify yourself that you are a very important person in this earth, you are so important to Almighty God, you are so important to the universe, and the human beings are so important to the universe, then you are also going to maybe respect the idea of respecting the human. Mm-hmm. So it's about me and you to understand whom we are, and then we can understand, okay, where do we supposed to move to? That is where we are going to get our unification. When you go back to the Nkrumahs, what the Nkrumah is talking about. Nkrumah is talking about uniting Africa physically, but spiritually is doing something different for Africa, which is we do the research after the Nkrumah, we found where everything happened, which is it's a long, explanation for somebody to understand that way of how Nkrumah trying to unify Africa. But the idea of Nkrumah unifying Africa is when we come together, we will become like the olden time, the Asian Comet. All Africans are going to be one, to have our own one belief. And we are going to close the door of the Babylon and us to come with the idea of what they are asked to do. So the boys has discovered something. Some people like Howard Thurman has discovered something. Some people like Nkrumah has discovered something. Then they come with a new, different idea. Understand that the television starts, coming on that area. So in my spiritual journey, I understand the bringing of the television is one of the way to continue of dividing us. Mm-hmm. To continue to dividing us after democracy, because the democracy is there where the Kwame Nkrumah came. He followed the democracy and is trying to put the Africa together.
And if we understand democracy,
and that where the Nkrumah is going.
So if we understand, and I might be again stretching it a little bit. So if we understand democracy as being, equally valued voices, right? This voice that is heard and is that accepted, and I translate that in many ways to kind of how it is that we understand religion, spiritual expression, and expressions of self. So. A lot of folks might say, we don't understand, why is it that you would have this professor who is dealing with identity, art, and democracy in conversation about spirituality? Well, the way that I understand psychology, coming from Sa, right, and understanding the spirit and all that, we understand that psychology is very, very close to spirituality. And we understand that identity is very close to spirituality and understanding an inner self, right, and defining oneself. And we use different language. We can use psychological language and vocabulary to get to that, but we are talking about similar things. My contention is also that as we understand ourselves as becoming finer and more well-built and well-understood individuals, then we understand identity in more significant ways and are able to be sharper instruments in a democratic enterprise, meaning in collaboration with one another. And the hope is that someone who is truly in touch with their identity is in touch with that inner understanding of the creator, of their spiritual self, and things like that. We don't talk about that a lot, but that is an assumption that I operate by. So then, as we talk about democracy, it very much has become diluted and is separated from, again, this ancient Kemetic orientation, which is where we get these ideas of all people being of value and having contributions to yield, right? So we understand, I understand democracy in that sense. I'm curious, as we're talking about democratizing, or as we're talking about effective, radicalized interconnectedness, that spirituality seems to have several levels and tiers and allows us to connect to our ancestors in many ways. So I know I'm going all around, I'll use a phrase, I'm going all the way around God's back to get to this. But there's a question that says, how did Nkrumah and the others disappear? Tell us something about ancestors and spirits. What spirits are there? What gods are there? I'm curious that as individuals manifest themselves on this physical plane in ways that are very much echoes of the spirit, that is what allows us to connect ancestors to the spiritual and allows us to inform how and what we do here to promulgate kind of this goodness. Does that make sense, or did I just ramble?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I think that is the idea of
blabber on a lot. What do you think about what I said?
Yeah, it made very good sense to me because you know me, I always use my boom missionary to say that there is no way one can be one without the acceptance of one. Before one can be a one. Maybe let me repeat again. There is no way one can be a one without the acceptance of one. And before one can be the one. Meaning is the question that you were asking about the spirituality. When Nkrumah told his fellows, like DuPont and the Co, that if you hear me screaming, you hold my clothes. They don't know what is it going to happen but they believe. So from the Nkrumah's belief is one, and then the followers' belief is two, and then the third belief is Nkrumah belief that it can happen. For the boys and the Padmore too, they believe in Nkrumah, so they know that it can happen. That is why it's able to happen. That acceptance, they accept that it can happen. That Nkrumah can do something if in case of anything, because they believe him as a true African. And they believe he knows exactly what he's talking about. So it's about belief, faith. The Christians or the religious will call it faith. But in my world, I would say believe.
Mm-hmm.
Faith. When I have faith in you, everything that you told me, I believe. But if I don't have faith in you, there is nothing that I will take from you because I don't believe you. But the faith, if I believe you, I have faith in you. So it's about the faith. That is why when they come one, and then the one thing happens. All of us, like if I work alone, I'm on way to Nigeria, the armed robbers attacked me. I believe myself as a one, they can't shoot me. They shoot me, it didn't enter. Because I believe in what I believe. But if I don't have any belief or the belief that it is my faith, maybe now I'm not talking to, maybe now I'm gone. Because they give me 2 bullets inside my stomach like this. Just, I think I would say, is it last year or so? Yeah, just last year. When Dr. Hewitt is here in Ghana, we are going to do some research in Nigeria. Because I believe in what my faith on, that there is no any bullet will enter my body. So with that faith, the bullet never, ever enter my body. So it's about faith. If I understand what you all the scenario that you put it together, the answer that I'm going to give you to that scenario is about faith. If and you.
So tell me this, Hodge, because that makes a lot of sense, right? So we know that you've established this spiritual healing center. And so can you tell us about that a little bit and why that's important right now? Because it sounds like you're going in that direction, but I want to have a hard line there. Like, talk about what is spiritual healing and why is it important for us to be aware of it, especially right now?
Okay, this is what happened. One day, I'm not sleepy. This is what I'm going to tell you, whether I will believe it or not. That is what happened. I'm in my village. I hear these elders knock my door. So I get up and open. And get guess what? Who I saw them there? I saw Kwame Nkrumah is in front of that boss, and George Padmore, and Howard Thurman, and Martin King, and one person that I don't know. So they asked me that, did you know this person? Because we can understand that you know all of us. Then I said, yes. This is not a dream. This is not a dream. Physically, 2 o'clock, that is the beginning of the name African Spiritual Healing Center. They came and told me that this is what we are here to tell you to do. Because every year we meet together and take care of African affairs spiritually. But going inside the head of the people, there is so much so-called religion has been, invaded into the head of the people. So people don't understand. But we understand that you have a capacity that people will listen to you, because every day you receive more than 20 people in your house. No matter how the person is a Christian, the pastors come to you, the faith priests, doctors, lawyers, politicians, even the people, even you are not going to believe that they came to me for the spiritual support. They all come. So they feel like, then I say, thank you very much for honoring me for this. But how can I start? Because this is something that it will involve time, money, education. I don't understand good English and this and that. Then Howard Thurman asked me, so how did I reach his room to lay the sickness person on his bed, and then the next day the person gets healed? But that one happened in the dream. So maybe Howard Thurman wants me to understand and to want me to believe that they know what they are talking about. That is why they remind me that, well, Jenny, that I want to declare to him that he's already died. He's not going to come back live again. But in my dream, I take the person to the Howard Thurman's room. When we go there, the first person that we saw in front of the house is one man like in India, baking the bread. So he collects something from me, then he opened the door for me. I went in. So Thurman tell me that so that I will believe that they are the same people that they are talking to me. They are not a fiction or whatever people they came from anywhere. But I can recognize the Dr. Martin King's face. I can recognize Kwame Nkrumah. I can recognize W.E. Du Bois because I saw their pictures. Mm-hmm. So I saw all of them live. So they told me that, don't worry, you just take it, start it. We are going to help you do it. This that I'm telling you is only just, 2.5 years now. And when you come to Ghana, you come and you see the kind of edifice that we built it as an African Spiritual Healing Center. You'll be surprised. All these things, sometimes I don't want to come out to tell people because it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. But you brought this. That is why I told you. So now, what African Spiritual Healing Center is doing now is training pastors, the fetish priest, even the street person that I saw that he have a spiritual power. Because what we are fighting against now in the world, we are in the war. Africa is in the war to on track. How can we do that? We are not going to use guns. No. We are not going to go to church and say, in you. Just like I do have something in me. That is what we are going to put, that is what we are putting it together. And having that struggle and fight in the night before morning, the people who have the wisdom and the knowledge, like you, Dr. Hewitt, all the professors that I know, they will have a strength and talk and bring the Africa where it's supposed to be. If you are going to recall what is happening in Africa now, any bad president is going down because he's not doing the work that our ancestors, the freedom fighters, want us to do. That is not what they are doing. They have their own masters. So now they take it upon themselves. So we are, if I say we, not me alone, including you, this program that we are doing is part of it. Listen to the name of the program. It's the Africa Awareness Week. What are we trying to, aware of ourselves? It's about conscientizing ourselves whom we are and what we can do. But the only thing that left is that can do spirit. So try to come back to Africa.
Can you talk to it? Because it sounds like you especially told us kind of how the ancestors play, right? So you talked about your personal connect with the ancestors and how it is that they give you direction, if not vision, to continue the work. Can you talk a little bit about, and I'm not sure, I know that I'm getting questions and I'm trying to put them publicly, but I'm not sure if it's working or not, but I'm going to just try for the sake of expediency and of getting things done. I'm just going to read some of these questions to you. Can you talk about Sufism and goddesses and gods in specific? Can you talk about that and the importance there?
I think the Sufism is the same as what our ancestors is telling us and what they want us to do, what they want us to know about ourselves. As a Sufi, I always call you my brother. Mm-hmm. Maybe you never ask yourself why, how. You are from different mother, different father, and from. So we call ourselves hey brother, hey brother. Yes, we are true brothers. And physical speaking, we are true brothers. Not anyone can come between us. So like I'm a Sufi. I don't see a woman as a woman and man as a man. They all are the same to me. They all are the same to me. That is the subject that may be the name of the subject that they said we should talk about. The God has no gender. It is true. But don't forget that when you come to Ghana here, when they are going to pray, they say, Trampon Kwame. Trampon Kwame. They refer that to a man, a male. And in the other side too, you hear them say, Nana Asase Ya. And then they refer that to the woman. So these two women are we going to take as a God? In terms of take the argument out of it. Whether it's a Trampon Kwame or Asasia, we are saying the same thing. Just like we have a different name altogether in the different religion, if you are related to the God. We have different tonation of calling, we will say Allah. Some people will say God. Some people will say Abnai. Somebody will say Eloi. Somebody will say this. But it's the same only one God that we've been talking about. That is where that one cannot be one without acceptancy be one before one can be a one. Whether we like it or not, it's only one. So you and your wife are the same people. They are one. So you can't take that one out of the human. So when we Muslims, when they go to Beijing, I think I forgot the date. When they go to Beijing, they say now woman to have power. What the man can do, the woman too can do. Who is arguing about that? It is true. Go to the religions. Let me start with the Arabia. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he used the woman money, call her Khadija. He used her money to establish the Islam. So without the woman, tell me, where is Islam? Without a woman, where is Islam? But they know that if they put the woman together, the woman in front, the woman can do better than them. They know the woman can do better than them. Look at our social life. You are just going to have an affair with your wife and your wife is going to be pregnant. For all that 9 months, where were you? You are at the school doing your business, trying to bring the food in the house. But she is the one carrying all the important thing in the role of bringing that child in the world. Can you do that? The answer is no. The answer is no. I and you cannot do that. Only women can do that. So why are you trying to take that power from them? If you go to the Islam back again, when the disciples asked Prophet Muhammad, whom do we supposed to follow after God? He said, your mother. He said, okay, apart from your mother, who again? And he repeated, your mother again. He said, okay, apart from your mother and your mother, who else? He said, your mother. 3 good times. So who told you that Islam is looking down upon a woman? Who told you that? It's a brainwash. Without us, we are.
So with that point then, Haj, I think that's such a good point, and it raises another question here. Considering the capacity for man-made religions to distort kind of the word or distract us from spirituality, do you think it's detrimental or beneficial for us to follow man-made religions? And or how do we do it in such a way that allows us to kind of, again, I'm going back to what we said a little bit earlier, tapping that original source?
So can you tell me the religion of the woman in this world now? Is it any religion that which is belong to the woman? I don't see it. Maybe you can tell me, but I never saw any religion which belongs to the woman. All the religions that I know, the genesis of that religion is from the man. The only Indians are the one you should combine. So as you see the Indians, they have their gods who have so many hands. So many hands. When we are going to, if we have time, maybe I can interpret that a little bit, further for you. Any one of hand is a symbol of something. But people have misunderstood them. They say they are worshiping the God who have many heads, who have many hands. But don't forget that 1,000 hands or 1,000 heads have only one body. So all these heads and all these hands, it belong to her. It belongs to only one structure body. Only one structure body. So I never disagree with them. I agree with them because that is the kind of image they saw that is going to connect them with their universe or with their creator or whatever that they think that is going to connect them to. Just like we all, when we are pouring the libation, we are not calling the God a woman or calling the God a man. We are just talking. The divine He knows who he is.
Mhm.
The divine knows who he is. And you can't even resemble him with a human being, or maybe it's like a heart, or maybe it's like a bottle, or maybe it's like a this. No, I don't see that one. So yes, we don't. I'm not going to say we. In my the foundation, African Spiritual Healing Center, our belief is different from what all this religion are talking about. Our
You went on mute. You went on mute. Try and see if we can't hear you. Yep, let's go.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, African Spiritual Healing Center is about putting ourselves together. That is what it's about. Whether you are Christian, a Muslim, or a Buddhist, or who. In our circle, everybody is involved. Now I can tell you that since I start like 2-3 years now, that down the line, now I'm towards like 300 people. Many of them, they are doing their church and whatever, but they are connected. They have the source of the power that they want from this. Togetherness. Whatever that is happening to their church, the pastor will put his hand on your head and whatever. But the source of the power, it came from this togetherness.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's about oneness. We have to be one. Yes.
So, okay, that's great. So I'm looking through these questions that we're answering. This is good. Haj, you're doing good, man. We've got about 5 to 10 minutes left. I'm going to have to peel off a little bit before our 12:30, at least Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. But we have a good 10 minutes. Let me see. Let me ask this. I'm reading a question here. I'm going to get to the question specifically. But so what you're saying is that the African Spiritual Healing Center, one of the things it does is kind of, I don't know why I'm thinking about a chiropractor and kind of putting things in alignment. So you can come from whatever religious background, but what you're trying to do is just kind of align things and allow people to know that really you're in alignment with the Creator, right? This idea of whether you're coming and you're talking through Jesus, whether you're talking through Muhammad, however you're coming at it, or Buddha, right? Wherever you're coming at it, we're just having you in alignment to let you know that you really are a vessel of the Creator, and you're still Amun Ra, you're still praying to the sun, as it were, right? So,
right.
So does that? Okay, so that's okay.
Right.
So how do you think that we communicate this to young folks? One of the questions here is that the sister Renita Ward says she thinks that you're so on point and need to reactivate our spiritual power. Can you speak specifically to young people's awareness of this spiritual power and knowledge, and on how it is that we might deploy these as tools or weapons, right? So I guess I'm translating this and thinking this a bit of in two ways. At first, as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, well, the kids wouldn't necessarily know this. We need to recalibrate them. But in many cases, kids do know it, right? So if I'm thinking about very, very young kids, right? My youngest is 5 years old now. And it seems like he's more in alignment with the Creator than I am, right? So when we go into things, I say, how are you doing today? You doing okay? He's like, no, I'm doing great. If I say I'm doing okay, he says, why aren't you doing great? And he really brings me back in alignment. So it seems like we need to do a couple of things. We need to affirm how it is that our young people are coming from, this direct alignment with the Creator, and keep them so. And then as they're talking about, asking, as the question is inquiring about weapons, the more that we're able to stay in alignment with the Creator, as we're thinking about Black men and women who we know globally are persecuted, young Black men and women in particular, if they're able to stay in alignment with the Creator and they have this faith or this belief that you're talking about that allows them to become impenetrable in many instances, then that becomes something that we need to do. Can you speak on that a little bit, again, on how it is that we keep our young people in alignment with this spiritual knowledge?
I think we are very that we have the youth listening to this conversation. If I say youth, I'm not talking about maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years. No, the one that we are coming to the line of this thing. I'm going to be very happy to assist anyone who would like to know something or would like to know what this is about. Because it's about letting them know. It is about taking it as a responsibility, fighting against ourselves to make sure that we are in the right direction. It's not about doing it for somebody. Oh, I'm going to learn it because of they said that I should learn it. You have to come from your heart to make sure that this is what the journey that I'm going to embark on. It is something that is really, really important to me. For the youth, we must learn more. Self-learning, I think, is help, because the universe talks to us every day, every night. Any movement, any seconds that you have in your life, that the universe is saying something to you. And you should not forget that when you are moving with your spirit. Even whatever that you are going to do, nobody sees you, but you of what you are doing, whether it's a good or bad. If you understand that section in your mind, it will be very difficult for us to find ourselves in the street, doing the things that we are not supposed to do. Because we have already known where the colonial era has brought us into. So the question that I'm going to put on my brothers is what it is to get out of that slave ship. We should stop telling ourselves that we are not slaves to the white people anymore. We are still reading their Bible. We are still reading whatever that they read. They wrote about us in their written today's history. We should forget what they want us to believe, but it's beyond what they believe, beyond the history. For looking beyond the history, then we can know that there's a lot that they left it behind, which is belong to us. Is going to make us whom lead us to destination. For 100 years or 200-300 years, America never believed that one day the black person will be the president of America. But we have already known before, we are 10 years before the Barack Obama stand, that there is one is coming, but we don't know where angle is it going to come from. But now it came to pass. So who told you that we can't build ourselves? We can't write our own stories. But making it happen is between it's you, my fellow brother.
So Haj, let me try and reframe.
Effort.
Let me ask you this, because
Go ahead, sorry.
You're just freezing and going in and out a little bit. And I know clearly somebody's trying to suppress this message. I'm sorry, I'm one of those guys. But it seems like when you're saying the best parts, it's like it's getting kind of faded out. But if I know you and I'm following you, I want to try and recreate what it is that you've said and then ask you for some closing comments. What you were saying, especially as we're talking about connecting and using this spiritual power for our youth as individuals are coming into themselves, is we're needing to kind of redirect them into understanding and believing in who they are and in whose they are, right? We might say within a sermon that I've heard, many, many times, and have a belief in their people and in themselves and in the spirituality. And one might say, again, using my language and referring to Howard Thurman, is in going towards that inward journey, trusting your conscience, trusting your awareness, because that really is the echo or the voice of the Creator. So having our young people be in alignment allows for our nation, right, our diasporic nation, to be in alignment. And we need to understand that just because we've had this colonialism or neocolonialism, and we've had this Western image and these white folks set as standards, we know and can really think through the fact that they are not. But one of the things that becomes so important, and I think why this conversation is crucial today, is that we have to get spiritually right. Because of how it is that these images are presented to us, we can say, oh, we don't believe in that, but we've almost been reared and trained and brought up on that. So we've got to disabuse ourselves of that kind of core Westernization that we so often are taught is what we should ascribe to, exercise that, and come back to ourselves and understanding, again, this Kemetic orientation, this Sufist orientation, this metaphysical or orientation of believing in and concentrating and understanding how the echoes of the Creator are within. Again, they're not gendered, and that's almost a provocative label to this, right? It's not that it's not gendered, it's not human, right? The idea is that the Spirit, God, is not something that is to be contained or maintained or controlled. And again, if we look at Westernized tropes, that's what it teaches us, is that, oh, well, God is man, right? If we just go straight patriarchally. But not only is God just man, we know that Jesus, the Son of God, is this blonde-headed, blue-eyed white man that's looking up to Amun-Ra, ironically enough, if we look at the pictures. We know that we have to understand that is not the case. And that's not to, and I'm not going to be an apologist for, but that's not to disrespect or to delegitimize Western orientations. It can be as legitimate as it needs to be over there. But for us, we understand that our true self and our true Creator is one that need not be labeled, because we have faith and belief in how it is that we are oriented and the goodness that abounds from that. So let me give you about 3 minutes to conclude. Tell me if I was wrong or help to guide my steps a little bit, and then we're gonna tie this off. So I'm gonna ask you, Haj, if you'll just give us some final comments, and then I'll say goodbye and we'll be out.
Thank you very much, for helping me. I don't want to take the English as my language, as you know. So don't normally speak English even anymore. That is the reason why. But what you are saying, you said exactly what I'm saying. It's about the language. That is the reason why. But exactly what I'm saying, because of you, you know me. That is why you are able to understand. So thank you very much for to bringing out of exactly what I'm saying. And finally, I'm going to thank everybody to say thank you and we should not, end it here. It's the beginning. It's just at the beginning. There is a lot. There is a lot. Maybe by end of the week, or sorry, by end of the month, the videos are going to start coming. Every week, we are going to talk about it like 15 to 30 minutes about breakdown on the subject. So we are going to throw it on our Facebook so that many people understand exactly what African awareness is talking about. African awareness is not about a week program. It's a year-round program. Every day we should talk about every day. So much to on this program. Our ancestors are very, very, very came out. I know why I talk about it here before I came out.
All right, so it looks like we lost Haj right as he was finishing. But one of the things that I think I picked up from him, and hopefully you all did too, is first of all, this is just the beginning. So the opportunity for us to connect in terms of an African awareness has us understanding our history, but also must demand that we understand our spiritual and our inner selves. I know that he is a resource. Haj Umar Muhammad is a tremendous resource. I've known him for close to a decade now. And one of the things I know he was communicating was that he, in fact, and it looks like he's going to come back on now, but he will, in fact, be a resource and can provide links.
Yeah, I can bring you back again.
Okay. I'm just saying some of what I thought it is that I heard of you. I was saying that we are going to make sure that we continue to use you as a resource, whether it is we log in on your Facebook pages or Instagram or whatnot. You're doing the work. We appreciate you doing the work, Haj. Brother, you know I love you. I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while, but clearly our connection is still there. So I want to thank you so much and thank the people who joined us today. And I'm getting ready to go ahead and sign off right now. All right, Haj, take care, man. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.